What we've done is select a short, real-world road loop out here in the hills of Cary, Arizona. First we'll drive the Insight with all of its green, fuel-saving, high-tech features in place. Then we'll drive it as we would any normal car. Okay, so we're now about to drive this new Honda Insight in the greenest way possible, trying to use the least amount of gas and using all of its fuel-efficient technology. So let me walk you through the startup procedure and explain, what we do as we go along. Okay, first we just start the car like any normal vehicle. Car comes on, we hit the Econ button, which is on the left, and it lights up a little green light on the dash. Now the Econ Mode does a number of things, including influencing the way the transmission shifts, the way the engine runs, cruise control, the way the engine shuts off, the idle stop technology, all in the way to make the car run at the most fuel efficient way possible. I mean, it even influences when the air conditioning comes on. But since we're trying to be super green, we're going to turn the AC off and roll up the windows for maximum aerodynamics. So it's going to get hot in here. And now we're ready to go. It's very simple. We want to be green again, so we put it into drive and roll out very gently, very smoothly. So here we go. Now we know we're rolling out very smoothly and doing a good job of being green because the car tells us so. Right behind the speedometer is a light, it's a backlight, and when we do a good job and are being green, it glows green. If you accelerate hard, it glows blue. If you're somewhere in between, it's blue-green, letting you know that you're kind of half and half. But we're trying to be green, so let's keep it as green as possible. And we're trucking along here, covering about 3.2 miles. This is not a very scientific test we're doing, but it will demonstrate some of the cool technology and basically how this thing drives. There's a number of screens in here that tell us what's going on. The most interesting one is the Echo Guide one that shows all these little leaves, where the goal is collect as many leaves as possible. At 30 miles per hour, it is showing that we have an instantaneous fuel economy of about 65.9 miles per gallon, so that's very good. But here we go, we're heading up a hill now, and I just saw my speedo flash to blue-green, so I gotta ease off the throttle, get back in the green zone, climbing. So here we are, we've crested the peak, we're headed downhill now, we're all green, battery seems to be charging. Let's check out our instantaneous fuel economy. It's dropped down to a 31.1 miles per gallon, but that's okay because we have a long way to go until we turn around. It should climb by then. Now, again, along with having all these cool things to look at, one of the benefits of driving in a green way is it's actually can be very pleasant in here. It's very quiet. The car rides nicely, very smooth, and you don't pick up a lot of vibration or wind noise because you're actually driving pretty slow. But it's certainly not any kind of penalty box being in here and being green. We've climbed again, 51.5, and we're getting close to our turnaround point. Still climbing because we are doing a lot of coasting here, running off the electric battery. We just broke the 60 mile per gallon mark. And about to come coasting to a stop. Now let's check out what we got. Okay, here we are, and as you can see, we got 64.8 instantaneous miles per gallon. Now this is very unscientific. It just flipped again because I think it just got the last calculation, 65.1. Not very scientific what we just did, but it does demonstrate that the car has a lot of green features. You can return excellent fuel economy without much penalty, as long as you follow some of the rules. All right, so we just drove this 2009 Honda Insight in the greenest way possible, and it was slow. It was hot because the AC is off. And to be honest, it was a little boring. We weren't doing anything crazy out there. We didn't get to really ever go full throttle. And again, we were driving very slow. So let's drive it in a more realistic way, the way a real enthusiast or say MotorTrend editor would drive it. And we'll do that first by turning off the Econ Mode and switching the air conditioning on. A nice 71 degrees. And we'll shift it past drive and into sport mode. And let's get underway. So we're doing a full blue launch, which means we're burning the most gas and using up the most power possible. And the first thing you notice is that you can hear the CVT quite a bit more when you drive it this way. Again, when you're driving green, you never have the throttle fully pressed, so you never really run the engine that hard, and you never see the revs climb. But when you drive it a more spirited fashion, you have the throttle down, you hear that monotone drone of the CVT. This is actually quite a fun car to drive when you get it up to speed. It has a very taut chassis. You can feel a lot of the bumps in the road, but that's not a bad thing because you can also feel which way the road is going, particularly in the turns. It doesn't wallow around quite like the Prius. And it really is the sort of defining element of this vehicle is that it returns some driving satisfaction. You know, Prius is a nice car, really good on fuel economy, but it's not the kind of car you want to take on roads like this that get really twisty. This Insight, on the other hand, has very nice steering feel. It reminds me of a bit like a Fit, maybe not as quick through the turns, but it does feel very light and very stiff. So it's a nice chassis that returns a lot of driving enjoyment. We are coasting down here and cornering nice and tight on this downhill section, and our MPGs are improving. We're back up to 22.8 miles per gallon. Not that impressive, but I'm having a lot more fun and I'm not sweating because the AC is running. Okay, here we go. We're coming around the last corner. Again, driving like a regular old MotorTrend editor. 27 miles per gallon, but we're having a lot more fun doing it. Looks like we did about 28.7 miles per gallon. Actually just flipped over to 29.2. Not great. You know, I'm sure there'll be people out there that say, well, there's cars that aren't hybrids that get just as good, if not better, fuel economy. But again, like I said earlier, this is not a very scientific test. This is a very short course, only 3.2 miles. I drove this vehicle yesterday over a much longer 20-mile course, and I managed to get 64.2 miles per gallon using the car in the very green mode, and only 44.1 in the normal sort of MotorTrend style of driving. So those are a little bit more accurate, again, over a longer distance. This is just to show you what it's like to drive the 2010 Honda Insight.